Good morning again, everyone. As promised, I said that I would go over the questions from the Graveyard book, which you did on Monday. If you want to send them to me just to look over them, that's absolutely fine. But you can self-mark them. The whole point of this is not to earn marks. It's just to make sure that you are understanding the book, so that when you do your exams, you will be able to answer questions correctly. Okay, so I did put down the mark allocation for each question because I want you to get used to looking at that and writing an adequate amount to get the marks for the questions. So the first question was worth 2 marks, and it asks, where did Bod get regular clothes to go out? Now, on page 108, it explains where he got them, and the answer is he got the clothes from a gardener's hut at the bottom of the graveyard. The hut had been abandoned for several years, so that was worth 2 marks. You couldn't just put that he got them from a hut because that's only one fact. So if you gave 2 facts, then you would get the 2 marks. Then question number 2. Describe what Bod looked like when he went out. The clothes, obviously, that he got out of the shed. He had green stained jeans on, which were way too big for him, but he rolled up the bottoms. And then he got a jacket, which was also too big, and he rolled up the sleeves. And to hold it all up, he wore a belt, which was made out of garden twine. 3 marks there, and you would have got those answers on page 109. Then question 3. What is a pawn shop? No. Oh, sorry. Question 3 is, do you think Bod fitted in with regular people? Give a reason for your answer. Obviously, can you imagine what he looked like, guys? He had these huge, big, dirty jeans on, which were rolled up. He had this big jacket on, which was obviously an adult's jacket, and he had to roll up the jacket, the arms, the sleeves, and then he wore this belt, which was like a rope tied around his waist. He felt that he looked good, but he certainly looked a bit strange. And so the answer there would be no, he did not fit in. He felt good about how he looked, but to other people, he looked really strange. Okay, that was worth 3 marks. Question number 4, what is a pawn shop? Now, that was only worth 1 mark, so you didn't have to give a huge explanation, just a brief one. But I will just tell you, a pawn shop is a shop where you take stuff in to sell if you need money. Now, you didn't have to put a whole long explanation. If you'd put that, that would have given you the 1 mark. But just to explain to you, the pawn shop will either buy your stuff and give you the money for whatever they think it's worth to them, and then, or else you pawn it, which means they will keep, just say it's a brooch like it was in Bod's case, or a ring, or anything that you want to pawn, and they will give you, lend you the money for whatever the value of the object is. And when you can pay it back, you go and get your stuff back. And if you don't get the money to get it back, then they will sell it anyway. Okay, so then question 5. Describe Ebenezer Bolger's pawn shop. So his pawn shop, it says in the book, it was a bit of an antique shop, a bit of a junk shop, and a bit of a pawnbroker. He also did as it says in the book, a better trade behind the scenes, meaning that he did not sell or buy things honestly. Now that was for 5 marks, so you needed to put just about all those facts. It was a pawn shop, like to an outsider, but he was very dishonest and he did a lot of trade behind the scenes. Okay? Then question 6, what type of person was Ebenezer Bolger? He was sly, he was dishonest, he had a permanent expression of distaste on his face, like a very sour face. He would tell people that their goods were not worth much, when in fact it was not the truth. So he was definitely dishonest and not a nice person. Okay, that was worth 4 marks, page 110. Okay, now question 7. What did he think about kids coming into the pawn shop? Obviously, he saw Bod come in, and instantly he felt that kids came in, if they came in with stuff, they'd either stolen it from their parents or their home, or they'd stolen it from someone, and he would get very angry parents to come in and confront him. So he did not like to deal with kids. Okay, that question was worth 2 marks. I've given you more than 2 facts there. But basically, you had to say he would think that kids had stolen stuff, and he did not want to deal with their angry parents. Then question 8, how did Bolger react when he saw the brooch? So, at first, he accused Bod of stealing it, and he hadn't examined it until he examined it properly. And he made out he was not so interested in it. But then Bod noticed that there was an expression of naked greed and excitement on his face, because he obviously realized that it was worth a lot of money. That's page 113 for 3 marks. Question 9. What did Bolger do after he locked Bod in the storeroom? Obviously, guys, he realized that this was worth a lot of money, and he wanted Bod out of the way, so he locked Bod in the storeroom so that he couldn't interfere. Then he picked up the phone and he phoned an important person that would aid and abet him in dealing with this brooch. It was only worth 1 mark. I've given you a bit of an explanation. If you put down, he immediately picked up a phone and spoke to someone about it. Called someone to come in to the shop. Okay? And then the last question, who appeared in the locked storeroom? And the answer is Liza appeared in the locked storeroom. Obviously, she was a ghost, so she could come through walls, and she appeared in when she realized he was locked in. Okay, guys, so mark your own work and see where you went wrong. I just want to tell you that next week we're going to be doing some more visual literacy. We are also, I'm going to be talking to you about film reviews, etc., how to do film study. So we're going to be doing some quite interesting and fun lessons on that.